What's up, you guys? Sean Rossap, Fightful. Jimmy came to work today.
Actually, you came to me.
I mean, I had to travel to Jimmy. I had to travel by 2 planes in this climate. And I mean that both among the airlines and the weather climate. But
this is going to be evergreen, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Assuming I make it back on the 2 planes I have to take to get home.
Right.
But, man, you were the subject, although vaguely, of a Matt Cardona comment recently.
More than one. He's done it more than once, Matt Cardona. Even though we had a conversation when I purchased these figures where I said, hey, can you not talk about price? Can you not? And you said to me, oh, I know, I don't disclose that stuff. Bullshit.
If you go on our YouTube channel, we did the complete history of LJN figures. I showed my version. We blurred it out. Right. Some freak hit me up after we aired it and paid me $45,000 for it.
Okay, that freak is probably one of our best fans, and every
that
time
freak
he hears
runs Fightful.
So basically, the reason we're doing this video is to tell the truth. Is Jimmy really a pervert? Did he really pay $40,000 for a naked Miss Elizabeth prototype? No, I did not.
I'd like to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode, despite that. But yeah, there was an acquisition that you've made, and of course, you've got the most complete LJN collection in the world. One day, I think we'll go through all those again now that I know more about collecting. But the last time we did videos on these together was 2019. It's before I got into collecting.
That's crazy, yeah.
I'm not as big of an LJN guy, but I mean, you have made it your goal to have the most complete LJN collection. And like in a sea of negative YouTube comments and people like that, even on our video from 6 years ago, people are like, whoa, this is insane. I don't think I understood the scope of how complete it was.
There's so much nostalgia, as you know, and across video games, across toys. There's just so much of it.
Yeah.
And now we'll talk more about prototypes later, but now there's like a whole community of artists that have 3D printers now, and they're really, really talented, and they can make it look like the real thing, which is one reason why I don't collect prototypes anymore, because it's hard to decipher the real one from the fake.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a massive community for nostalgia when it comes to toys, and LJNs is no exception.
So let's take a look at some of these that you have, because these were the 3 acquired in the transaction, as it's known.
This particular video is all about debunking Matt Cardona's bullshit. That's what this video is about.
Matt.
I do too.
3-time Fightful award winner. In his household, they got 6 of those trophies.
Yes, and he knows I'm just joking, but I want to do this to debunk the lies and the erroneous comments from Matt Cardona.
The dirt sheets are debunking.
Yeah, the dirt sheets are
Matt
debunking.
Cardona.
Yeah. So I'm going to show what I really acquired from him. So what he wants everybody to believe is that I paid X amount of dollars, a 5-figure sum, for a prototype of a naked Miss Elizabeth. And my wife, who's the camera person for this, she put painter's tape over top of certain areas. But this is the figure in question where Mr. Cardona says I paid X amount of dollars for this naked Miss Elizabeth, and that's erroneous, Sean Rossap. It's erroneous.
Erroneous.
So,
well, I mean, explain how that figure even exists for those that don't know.
So basically, this was created by the people that worked at LJN. So obviously, they were very talented at what they did, sculptors and whatnot. Clearly, for this one, they used the actual mold for Miss Elizabeth.
I love that you turned it around. You're like, here's the back shot. Clearly, they were very talented.
Has tape on it. Has tape on it.
Look at that.
So obviously,
look at those glutes.
Obviously, they used the Elizabeth mold from the actual retail version, but then they edited it and made this particular one naked. That's what they did. And I had heard about this. This was like it was like lore in the LJN world. I had heard about it. I didn't know if it was legitimate. And then one day, I found out Matt Cardona had it. And there's more than one of these that exist. But I found out he had it. And he had another figure I wanted, which is where the truth is coming out about this whole thing. So the one I mainly wanted from Matt was the unreleased Mean Gene Okerlund prototype, which is this one right here.
Okay.
This particular figure, they only put it in their commercials. They only put it in their print advertising, and they put it in their television commercial, but they did not produce and release this version.
Okay.
I don't know why, and what I did was I brought with me one of the ones that they did. This is what they did produce, and you can see the very obvious differences.
Yes.
And if I'm being honest,
He's doing the Bret Hart pose in the prototype.
but if I'm being honest, I think the prototype looks more like Mean Gene Okerlund than the one they released.
Yeah, I think it
I
does
think.
as well. I do.
So-
I mean, the one they released is great. Like, it looks fantastic.
But I think this one looks even better.
Okay.
And from what I understand, the way it would work is they would create a prototype like this. They would paint it up and they would produce it to present it to Miss McMahon. And Miss McMahon would either decide he would green light it and they would produce it, or he would want them to make changes to it. So for some reason, he didn't like this Mean Gene Okerlund, I guess, and they produced this different one. So when I found out Matt had this is what I was really interested in because it was unreleased. That's why I wanted it.
Do you want to know the big change that I'm noticing that I wonder if Mean Gene had a little input on?
I don't even want to know if I want to ask this question.
Oh boy. Let's see if our wonderful camera woman will zoom in at the top of this and then turn that prototype upside. Oh, look at that hairline.
Oh, he's got better hairline?
He's got a much better hairline on the released version
Ah, okay.
than the prototype. Listen, this is when haircuts were men. That I want to see grown adult men with that haircut these days. That's what I want to see in life. But yeah, it's like on the top of his head from ear to ear on the regular one, and he's got a full-on skullet on the prototype.
So the final one that I also acquired from Matt Cardona, because again, I did not spend that money for just a naked Miss Elizabeth. The other one that I acquired from Matt Cardona was a resin prototype of Andre the Giant, because this is the first figure that I ever owned, like the actual release version, and Andre was my first ever favorite wrestler. That's why I wanted this. And from what I understand, the reason that this wasn't painted up, they apparently produce these to give to their sales executives to present them to their buyers. That's what I was told. And so they call it a sales sample or a resin prototype. And so these are the three. This one won't stand up by itself. There you go. These are the three that I acquired from Matt Cardona. Don't listen to his lies. You're a carny, Matt Cardona.
Oh, come on.
But this is what I got, and so that's the true story.
So this is basically what they presented to potential buyers, and they loved so much that they're like, oh, well, we got to keep them that size now.
That's right. That's exactly what happened. Yep.
Because, I mean, originally they were supposed to be that size and then scaled down.
Yep.
And
So we're going to do another video about prototypes.
Okay.
And when we do that, I'll talk specifically, and I'll show off the different prototypes that I have. But you're right. That's exactly what happened. They call these 2-ups. So, and they do it for different action figures too. So what they do is they do like a double or triple size version of what it's going to be, so they can get the detail down.
Yeah.
Then they present that to the decision makers and whatnot. And in this case, the buyers wanted it to stay this size, so that's what they did.
And remember, if you want to take your little Mean Gene into an Andre the Giant, check out BlueChew.com, our wonderful sponsor that had nothing to do with this transaction or acquisition. Jimmy, years after you've made this deal, how are you feeling about the deal? With the ridicule, the mockery of which you have been subjected to.
So the only thing I will say is my wife did not divorce me, even though I acquired a naked Miss Elizabeth. And so I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with it. I know that some people will look at the price and say, like, what are you doing paying all that money for these? These do not grow on trees. You can't just go and buy these every day. And I wanted them for my collection. Like I said, I really wanted the Mean Gene. That's the one I wanted the most. And I've had offers for different ones, and I just not interested in selling.
I feel like not enough people invested in naked Miss Elizabeth trees.
Not enough.
For them to grow on. Like, if that were the case, there'd be a lot more. Listen, the top 1% would be a lot more robust these days. But Jimmy, we appreciate you setting the record straight.
Telling the truth.
We're gonna believe him, I guess.
Try it sometime, Matt.
Oh my God! Listen, Matt, I'm still cool with you. I'm still cool with you. He's talking all this trash. I believe your side of things. Until next time, we're out.